Get ready for sports news and entertainment. All right here, your 7 minutes with Simmons starts right now.
Let's talk extensions, everybody. And I'm not talking about hair, ladies. Welcome back to the show, guys. Episode 36 of 7 Minutes with Simmons. I'm your host, Christian, here with you as always. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I hope everybody had a safe and enjoyable 4th of July celebration. If you did, and you'd like to hear some stories about those who have not, be sure to tune into my episode yesterday. We talked a little bit about 4th of July celebrations and how sometimes they can go off the rails. But today, no longer 4th of July, it's July 5th. And now that we've settled those big-time UFA deals, this free agency, let's talk contract extensions. And there's a ton out there, guys. But we're going to narrow in on the big three, in my opinion, the must-haves. These teams need these guys back. Massive holes left in the lineup if you can't bring them back. And we're going to talk about what kind of terms we can see happening there. The three in mind, I got Jack Eichel, Kirill Kaprizov, and of course, number 97, Connor McDavid, the big one. The big one this offseason, hoping to get a deal done there in Edmonton. For Jack in Vegas, we'll get started there. I think it's a good place to start. Lots of stuff happening in Vegas. You got Marner coming in. You got a new look for next season. A little bit, of maybe a cap issue. I don't know that Jack's going to have to take a huge cut, but he seems to be happy there. There's a lot of mutual interest in the desert to have the superstar center return to the Golden Knights, and really exciting stuff happening in Vegas. Marner joins the cast for next season. Eichel has got to be back to cement that move, though. I think you bring in a guy like Marner, you need to have that bona fide number one center he can play alongside of. And I think Eichel fills that role perfectly. I think Mark Stone being on the other side could create a deadly line that could be absolutely gross. If you think about that, like the two-way game, those are some of the best defensive forwards in hockey right now. And then Eichel and Marner can light it up offensively. I think that's a fantastic DNA. I love that makeup of the Vegas Golden Knights. If they can find a way to get him paid, coming off a 93-point season, so it's not going to be easy. His contract previously, $10 million AAV, an 8-year deal he signed with the Buffalo Sabres. So we'll see what the new term looks like. I see him staying there on a 4-year deal. I don't know that he takes the full 8, but again, we'll see how things develop there. Maybe he does take the full 8. Maybe he wants to match up with Mitch Marner. They can sync contracts. They get their cycle matched up. I don't know. I mean, maybe not a bad idea. I think given that they did lose Nicholas Waugh to that trade with the Toronto Maple Leafs, they do want to make sure they're keeping some of their centers. The depth down the middle is going to be important in Vegas, and Eichel, of course, is a big part of that. So we'll see what happens in Vegas with Jack. Shifting gears here, we're going to head out to Minnesota. They got to be desperate to keep this guy. I mean, Kirill Kaprizov, big part of that team for the Wild. I mean, had an MVP caliber season before he was injured last year. A guy that really fills out that roster. I mean, you take a look at that Minnesota team. There's not a ton of offensive help for this guy. You got Boldy, but who else is really bringing it home for Minnesota? I think they have got to get this guy back. I could see a big-time deal there. Obviously a cap struggle over the past couple of seasons, but the buyouts are done. The Parise and Suter nightmare is over. We can wake up. So lots of cap space. And with the cap going up as well, it's good news for Minnesota. However, the money could very well be going right back. I mean, I see a Minnesota tax applied there. Like Kaprizov could very well become the highest paid player in the league. Coming in just above Draisaitl in that $15 million ballpark. We'll see how things develop there. When you look at it, he had an MVP caliber season. He's got a lot of upside. They got to love him. And also, they need him. They got nobody else. They need him back. they really need him back. I mean, it's not like, you look at some of these other two. You look at McDavid in Edmonton. Draisaitl's still there. Obviously, that leaves a huge hole if they don't get him back. In Vegas, they got Marner now. They got Stone. They got Carlson. There's other guys out there that can get it done if Jack Eichel doesn't come back. But I think in Minnesota, it's a bigger issue for the Wild. Kaprizov has to be back, but we'll leave it at that. I see a $15 million offer sheet heading out to his way, but let's get to the big one. The best player in the league, the big kahuna, Connor McDavid. What do you see this guy making? Like, is it a 4-year deal? Is it an 8-year deal? Does he come in at a 2-year deal and kind of play his cards at his own table? Like there's lots of variables here, potential options for McDavid. I mean, the idea of a shorter term seems to be swirling a bit more than a lengthier deal. I mean, this makes sense for so many reasons. I mean, he keeps the pressure on management. You got to build a team for me kind of attitude. Like, I'll give you 2 years. You get $16 million a season, 2 years, $32 million, and we'll go from there. If we're good, if we win, you get another $7 million. Or does he ride it out like the Sidney Crosby strategy? Does he take the 8-year contract right now and stay at Edmonton Oilers for the remainder of career? I don't know. I don't see the 8-year deal on the table at this point. I say let's win a cup first, and then we'll get there. But I think for McDavid, it's all about winning. You got to look at it this way. Crosby won a cup early in his career. He won a cup before he signed his extension. So for McDavid, it's a little bit more of a, I need that security. I need to see the future here. I need to see the potential of me winning cups here. So I think it's going to be a 4 or less for this extension. And obviously the cards are in his hands. Edmonton's playing at his table. You can't argue with that guy. So we'll see what happens there. Those are my 3 big extensions coming up. We'll see how those develop. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Hey.